Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience of our 8 week sales mastery course with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling in our 8 week sales mastery course. But before we begin, I'd love it if you could share where you're at in the country and what does your firm specialize in?
Thanks so much for having me, Michelle. I'm in Chicago, Illinois, and my firm specializes in CFO advisory services for purpose-driven enterprises.
Awesome. So, what were things like in your firm before you met me? What were you dealing with? What were you struggling with? What were those biggest challenges as it related to your sales
Yeah.
process before you booked a phone call to talk to us?
So there were quite a few challenges that I was aware of, and an even bigger one that I wasn't aware of until I started working with you. So the things that I knew I struggled with off the top of my head is I said, I'm not good at sales. I have social anxiety, and that gets in the way. I said that, we had referrals, a lot of referrals coming in, and I was fortunate that we were able to build the business the first 2 years purely off of referrals. And I kind of used that as a cop out to avoid sales altogether. So we didn't have any systems or anything in place and didn't really know where to start. And then the bigger issue I realized once I started working with you was that I actually had a lot of mindset work that I needed to do and adjustments that I needed to make. And probably the most surprising outcome of that is that I found out that I actually do enjoy sales when it gets down to the root of what sales is, which is actively listening, to clients and prospects and finding ways that our services can help if we are the right fit for them.
Yeah. So, I love that you had all those realizations and that, you thought you had the social anxiety that was in your way and that the referrals was gonna take you into where you needed to go in your firm. And I think a lot of people just rely on that. Well, I get referrals, so I don't really need to learn how to sell.
Yeah.
What was the moment where you decided to reach out for help? You're like, something's wrong. I don't know how to fix it. This has been going on for 2 years. What was that moment where you decided to say, okay, I can't keep going this way, or else I'm gonna have to go get a job? Or what was it for you that, said you got to do something and you reached out?
Yeah. That is a great question. I think the kind of deal breaker for me was I was in a situation where I was working with a client that was really impacting my health. And I felt like I didn't have a choice but to continue that relationship because I hadn't developed a sales pipeline. And if I needed to actually go out and seek sales, I wouldn't, I didn't know where to start. And so realizing that it was imperative that I make a move because that wasn't sustainable for my business, for my team members, or frankly for my health, I knew that I needed to make a change.
Mhm.
Um, and I realized we were doing really incredible things, making great impacts on our clients and on our team members, and that I was doing everyone a disservice by limiting our growth because I would not put myself out there and actively sell.
Yeah. And so, how many clients or prospects came to you, but because of the avoidance of sales, or you called it the social anxiety, which I don't think you have, but whatever was in the way, how much revenue did you actually miss out on because you were avoiding it for so long?
Oh, I don't know that I could even quantify,
Oh,
that I could even quantify it.
okay. Okay. And so you decided to enroll in our 8 week sales mastery course. And I'm curious, how did you go through that decision-making process? Because I'm
Yeah,
sure you've looked at other programs. There's a lot of other coaches out there. You probably tried to do things before, but they didn't work out for you. What was the
absolutely.
decision-making process when you decided to say, "Hey, I'm gonna give this a chance. I'm gonna enroll, I'm gonna pay, I'm gonna invest the time. I'm just gonna do what Michelle says." Like, take us through that process for another firm owner that also might be contemplating this exact thing.
So for me, It came down to the testimonials that I'd seen from other people, and I was also referred to this program from multiple different people at once that didn't know each other. And so the fact that these other groups that I trusted kept bringing you in to present, saying this person knows what she's talking about, really made me, take a close look at your work. And then after reading the testimonials on your site, and then when I thought about it, the return on investment with the prices that I could charge if I was approaching sales with confidence, I knew that I just needed to land one client. And I was going to be, uh, it would be worth it financially for me. Um, and all I can say is that I actually ended up getting a lot more out of the program than I anticipated. The sales piece was really just the kind of tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. No, and we'll get into that in a second. But what was your initial skepticism like before you decided to enroll? Understanding you watched the testimonials, multiple people, I guess, guided you towards the abundant accountant. But what were those initial skepticisms and fears around the investment, around the time commitment, around thinking, is this going to work for me? It's worked for all these people, but what about the people it didn't work for? Like, what were some of those thoughts? And how did you overcome those?
Yeah, so I definitely one of the first thoughts was if I don't like sales because I was convinced that that was factual. I did not think that that was something that could change. Will this program work for me if I'm more of a reluctant salesperson? Um, One of the big things was I am a small business owner, and did it make sense for me to scrap together funds to invest in this program when I could use those funds elsewhere? Was this the right time to make that type of investment? What kind of clinched the decision for me was the question I should have been asking myself is, can I afford not to make this investment now? And what are the opportunity costs if I put this decision off and I end up in 6 months from now in the same position that I am now? And it came down to I can't afford to wait to make a change because I know that the situation I'm currently in is untenable. Um,
Yeah.
and I can either sit here with it and hope that something makes the next 6 months different from the past 6 months, or I can actively do something about it and actually carve out the time to get the work done and really dig into the process.
Yeah. And I know your health was taking a toll too, with each
Yeah,
client and just all, like you said, your mindset stuff. So I think that's a great realization to understand that you could not afford to make a change
not at all.
and that you were able to see that and figure that out for yourself. And like you said, you scrapped together funds and figured it out from a financial standpoint. And there's so many firm owners, Rachel, that say, you know what, I really, I just need leads. I should just be doing marketing. I need lead generation. I need a funnel. Like, what would you say to a firm owner now that thinks they just need more clients and need leads and how to find clients, where really the most crucial part is, I think, what you've learned. How would you articulate that to another firm owner, being an accountant and a fractional CFO firm owner like you, where if you don't know how to convert and sell and work on all of this, no lead, no referral, it doesn't matter if it's
Yeah.
generated from advertising, from marketing, or like you were doing, all referral based, if you avoid sales and don't have a process. How would you differentiate that for someone that might be listening now, thinking that sales is actually marketing when in reality it has nothing to do with that?
Oh, yeah, that is definitely critical. I think, and this goes back to the question you asked me earlier about how much money I left on the table by not having a sales
Yeah.
process. What I've realized is that I have an abundance of leads already, and it's very easy to find different pathways to getting leads. The more important thing is making sure you're getting leads that really align with your ideal client, and that you have a process to guide the right people into working with you. And equally important, that the process that you put in place weeds out the type of clients that you don't want so that you really can focus on, spending all of your time with those ideal clients, which was not a choice I felt like I had before, but definitely is an important distinction.
Yeah. And now that you have all those elements set up, that was part of your sales process. And now,
Yes.
because you have that set up, what I'm hearing you say is that you have the confidence to say, actually, I have an abundance of leads. I just didn't see it like that. I didn't see
Yeah.
that all my referrals were leads or the people they knew or all these people that reached out to me and I ignored. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
you can't see when your glasses are like if I had a dust layer on my glasses, you're like seeing blurry almost.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's fast forward. You've completed the 8-week sales mastery course. You're in our ongoing coaching. How has the success of what you've created so far and built in your firm, how has that made an impact on you, your family, your health, your quality of life?
Yeah. So health-wise, doing significantly better. And before I even touch on like how it has impacted our sales, it has also impacted our strategy and overall optimism for my firm and for my team because they see the difference in conversion rates. But also, they know that we are actively seeking the client that serves all of us best and that we can serve at the highest level in a way that we weren't before. So the team doesn't feel panic. Everyone is optimistic, and it's I mean, we're a numbers firm, so we're all driven by numbers, and we love the fact that we actually can track when we are fishing in the right pools and going after the right clients, and we are connecting with them in the way that we've learned through the program, that we, to a certain degree, know what the results will be. And so then it makes it very easy to back into when we look at our sales goals and our plans for the year, what type of activity we need to do to actually generate those results. So it's not just wishful thinking that this is our strategic plan or our financial goals, but we actually have a system in place and know what we need to do to hit those numbers.
Love it. So, what were your financial increases and how has your conversions increased from before to where they're at now?
So our conversions, well, one, we were not tracking them before, but if I had to guess off the top of my head, I would say our conversion rate before was probably hovering around like 20-25% because I was having a lot of meetings with people that we were not screening, that they were not good fits and they weren't going to go anywhere. And I was spending a lot of time in those meetings. And now I have quite a few meetings, but most of them are actually progressing to um, either a closed sale or progressing to, oh, this is someone where this isn't the right fit, and we make a mutual decision to walk away. And I think that that's a win too,
Yeah.
knowing when to walk away from potential clients before engaging them.
Yeah.
Um, and I very rarely, I feel like have sales meetings that are pointless or wasted. And I'm definitely no longer. I think one of the biggest differences is I used to have 4 or 5 or 6 meetings with a single person to try to close the sale. And now that I understand sales psychology and I really understand the value that we provide to people, there's no more of that 5 or 6 meetings to get to a sale. So the sales cycle is shorter, it's more effective, and this is just the beginning because we're still implementing and building on things that I've learned in the program.
Lovely. And what would you say to your younger self or another firm owner that might be listening today,
Yeah,
knowing what you know right now about the 8-week sales mastery course, about working with me and my team here at the Abundant Accountant, um, you know,
yeah.
putting all your old beliefs aside, like pretend you were watching this video of yourself. What would you have wanted to hear in the video that would help and support another firm owner that might be in your shoes where you were 3 months ago?
Yeah. I think the things I wish that I had known um, is that this program has yes, it's called Sales Mastery, but it truly has all the components that you need. So everything from the sales systems to the mindsets and belief to actually putting things in execution. The homework is really thorough and intentional. In completing the homework, you're actually building out the sales system. However, the program does not work unless you do. And so making sure that you're intentional about setting aside that time. um, but yeah, I wish that the first time I saw you, I think present a workshop at an event that I wish I had jumped in instead of waiting because I know I would be that much further ahead right now. But I'm glad that I did make the decision, and I can't wait to see what our first full year post the Sales Mastery program looks like.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing. Is there anything else that you want to share with a firm owner that might be listening on how this was unique and different than other things that you've tried in the past, or just anything else that maybe I didn't ask you that you want to share before we wrap up?
Um, I think one thing I did not think about really before joining the program was how much I would also learn from other participants and the camaraderie that would come with the coaching calls. Just showing up and knowing that I was not alone in those decisions and getting that weekly encouragement made a difference. And I cannot overstate how transformative the program has been for my mindset, for my confidence, and for the way that I approach not just sales, but branding and strategy and communications for my firm.
Yeah, no, I love it. And you've definitely done a 180. So I'm super proud of you. And thank you so much for taking out the time to share your experience with other firm owners that might be considering enrolling in the 8-week sales mastery course who also don't want to wait any longer, or maybe heard of us a while ago and then finally they're like, okay, let's just dive in, because every single week you wait, it just is costing you, right? It costs
Yes.
your health and missed revenue and all these things. So thank you so much, Rachel, for sharing. It's been an honor to see your journey, and I just can't wait to see what comes in 6 months to a year from now for you.
Thanks so much, Michelle.